three applications are there with you. One is to find the EMF of a cell. Second is to compare the EMF of the primary cells using potentiometer. And the third is to find the internal resistance of a cell. Clear? So first bit I have discussed in the previous class also, that how can I find the EMF of a cell using potentiometer. For finding the EMF of a cell, I need these requirements. All these apparatus you have seen earlier, like a potentiometer, galvanometer, resistance box, connecting wire of course, and a driver cell and a primary cell whose EMF you have to find. Of course, EMF of this your driver cell should be greater than the EMF of the cell whose EMF we want to find it out. Clear? So this is the circuit diagram. Here AB is just a modified way to show the potentiometer wire, which is of course 10 meter long. So all the time we will not be drawing like this. A is the zero terminal, means zero terminal is always we are calling where we are joining the positive of the cell. So where we are joining the positive of the driver cell, at the same point we will join the positive of the cell whose EMF we want to find. That is, here we are taking the primary cell. As I have discussed with you, I can have the primary cells which are non-rechargeable cells, like your dry cell you are using in torches. That is also a primary cell. Basically that is a Leclanche cell, modified form of the Leclanche cell. So we will be discussing with you in this about the cells also in detail in the coming lectures. What it is, that this is the resistance, or you can say the rheostat, which is connected in series with the driver cell, a key, and this negative of this driver cell is coming to the second end of the potentiometer, that is the B point, where we are having the 10 meter length or 1000 centimeter length with us in our lab, because we are having 10 meter long. So in most of the questions they mention whether we are taking the 10 meter long wire or they are taking the 4 meter long wire. That is always mentioned in the question. So that much length will be always given. This circuit is your main circuit, basic circuit with you, and this is the circuit which allows the current to pass through it, this potentiometer wire. If I current is passing, this is going to be the direction of the current from the wire AB. Now what it is, what I want to do is, I want to find the EMF of a cell. So that cell is connected here in the secondary circuit, you may say. The secondary circuit, I am joining this cell whose EMF I want to calculate, and the galvanometer and a high resistance box, of course, to protect the galvanometer. And from this high resistance box, always we take out some key. Taking out some key means I am introducing that much resistance in the circuit, maybe 200 ohm, maybe 2000 ohm, depending upon. I have to take, that is one precaution we take while doing the experiment. Of course, this resistance box I can connect before the galvanometer or after the galvanometer. That is not going to make any change. And then this is connected to the jockey, and jockey has to be moved over the wire. The finding length of the wire I have already explained how I can measure the length using the potentiometer. If I am on the even wire or I am on the odd wire, for odd wire upper scale, for even wire number of wires taken, and plus lower scale. So I can find the length where it balances. Balances means where the galvanometer shows no deflection. It means at the balance length, galvanometer is not showing any deflection, means there is no current is drawn from this primary cell E. And at that point, using the principle of potentiometer, I can write that EMF is given by K into L. K is of course the potential gradient and L is the balancing length. Balancing length here AJ can be calculated experimentally, and when you know K and L, you can find the value of EMF. So K will be always given to you in the question, that is the potential gradient, or otherwise like we have calculated in previous examples, you can always calculate by knowing the value of V and R in the circuit. For that, R of this wire is also given. So basically current is flowing from this basic circuit, flowing through this resistance wire which is having some resistance and this external resistor, on the basis of which we have already done the questions in the previous class. So I think this part is very clear to you, how I can find the EMF of a cell using the potentiometer. So this is the first application with me. Second application is to compare the EMF of two given cells using potentiometer. So I have two cells now. This is just to show you the requirements. The requirements with me are, of course, I need a potentiometer, I need a galvanometer, a ammeter and a rheostat to join in the basic circuit with the battery eliminator. Battery eliminator will be always given, or we can use any other driver cell, auxiliary battery, that whose potential difference should be greater than these two cells E1 and E2, which we generally give you in the lab. One is the Leclanche cell, another is the Daniell cell. In the Leclanche cell, if you want to know, here we are using the ammonium chloride as the electrolyte. Zinc rod is there which is acting as negative, and carbon rod is there which acts as positive. So carbon rod positive is coming at a point, beginning point, where the positive of this driver cell will come and the positive of the another cell which is Daniell cell. Here we are having the copper container, and in this copper container we fill the copper sulfate solution. In the center we are having a porous pot. In the porous pot we put the H2SO4 dilute, and then we put the zinc rod. Zinc rod is acting as negative, copper container is acting as positive. So these two cells we are using in the lab. One is Leclanche cell, another is Daniell cell. And of course you need two keys. One is one-way key in which I am having only one gap. Another is a two-way key in which I am having two gaps. So one time, this is just to make the circuit connection easy with us. At one time I can take one key out. So one cell out of these two will be in connection and the other will not be there. Second time I can take out this key and I can insert this key. So this cell will come in connection and this will not be in connection. So that way two-way key can be used to do our experiment very easily. Of course we need a resistance box, we need the connecting wires. Connecting wires are the copper wires, and the resistance wire over the potentiometer is the manganese or Constantan wire. A jockey is required to do the connection. It is simply like a pen. If you want, you can hold it like a pen, and here there is the conducting thing, and conductor is yours covered by an insulating material from where you are holding. And of course jockey is the only device which is a one terminal device. Only one terminal is there, one wire is to be connected by the galvanometer through the resistance box. So these are the connections as well as the requirements, but to understand the connections more comfortably, you have to go with the circuit diagram. In the exams you are supposed to draw the circuit diagram like this. Like you can make simply 4-wire potentiometer, and this is a point which is acting as a 0 point, and here I am connecting both the cells, positive of both the cells as well as positive of the driver cell. So here we take 3 connections, all the positive, driver cell and the cells whose EMFs are to be compared. E1 upon E2 I can find. And of course with the driver cell, this is the basic circuit with me. With the driver cell I connect the ammeter to know the current. I connect the rheostat to vary the resistance and hence to vary the current. Of course a one-way key, and then it is going to the second terminal which is B terminal of the potentiometer. And in the secondary circuit I have these two cells. Negative of these two cells are connected to the outer sides of the two-way key. Two-way key is a 3-terminal device. 2 terminals are at the ends and 1 terminal is in the center. One central terminal is in common, and that common connection will go to the resistance box and then to galvanometer, and through the galvanometer you have to join the jockey, which is single terminal device with you. And this jockey can be moved over different wires to get the no deflection in the galvanometer. So I will not be getting any deflection in the galvanometer only at null position. And at null position, that length I will be calling it as the balancing length. So how I will be doing the experiment? I will be taking one here. If I insert the key here, it means E1 is in connection, but E2 is not in connection. This is open key. Here open key, here closed key. So what will happen? This primary circuit is of course in connection. K1 is always to be inserted. This key, one-way key, is to be inserted to make the current pass through this potentiometer wire. Then what can be done is that I can insert the take the value for the null position. Let it is at J1 I am getting the null position. So according to the principle of potentiometer, for the first cell E1 I am getting, it is coming out to be KL1, where L1 is equals to AJ1. It means for the first cell, this whole length, it is coming out to be 100 and something, 140 centimeters supposingly. So this is L1 I can measure by using the potentiometer. Now what will happen? Second step, you will take out this key from E1, but you will insert this key which is with the cell E2. So now E2 will come in connection and E1 is not in connection, and then again you will move the jockey over the potentiometer wire to find the null point. It means where galvanometer shows no deflection, and then you can find L2, which is corresponding to the second cell E2. So again using the principle of potentiometer, E2 is given by KL2. So by simply dividing, I can find E1 upon E2 is coming out to be L1 upon L2. So I can compare the EMF of the two cells. Another method of writing the formula, because E1 we have said that is equals to the potential drop across this AJ1 wire. So potential drop across this wire will be equals to the current flowing through this wire, which is equals to I, resistivity, and L1 divided by A is the area of cross section. So because we are allowing same value of current, we are keeping the rheostat at a particular position for the first set of observation. So A we are keeping same, wire we are asking you not to rub the jockey against the wire, because we want to keep the area of cross section same as in meter bridge we said. So all those precautions are there. Copper strips are there simply to give you the less resistance here at the ends, and you can find by either you use simply these two equations or by basic formula. So what is happening, I think you all have understood. At this point J1, potential drop of this wire that becomes equals to the potential drop which is given by the basic circuit or the primary circuit, and that is why you are getting null deflection. So if you are not putting any key here, so then also the current you can see, deflection you will see, but you will not be able to find the null position. It means you will not be able to find the balancing length. So this is the formula which is to be used directly in the numericals whenever questions are coming. And this is very important from the experiment point of view as well as from the theory point of view, because they may ask you to simply draw the circuit for the comparison of EMF of two cells using potentiometer, and you have to take care that how you draw the circuit. So for that you need to do practice. You draw the circuit with your hand just to make the things more clear with you. The next application, third application, is to find the internal resistance of a primary cell. Now for internal resistance of a primary cell, the requirements with me are, of course, the resistance box. Now I need two one-way keys. One-way key is here in the basic circuit with rheostat here. If I am not changing the position of rheostat, then of course current will be same. So in the experiment I may join ammeter, I may not join. So for a one set I keep the rheostat at first position. For second set I can move the rheostat a little. For third set I can move the rheostat a more little. So I may take as many number of sets of observations as I want to take. So this is here, no connections are being done, but the things are being shown to you. Leclanche cell we are using, We may use any primary cell whose internal resistance I want to find. I can use linear cell, I can use Lagrange cell. This is battery eliminator. We can give 4 volt or 2 volt depending upon whether I get what EMF I am using of this cell. Galvanometer I need a resistance box and 2 resistance boxes rather we will give you in the lab. One for the higher resistance to connect in the smaller circuit, and another is the resistance box to protect the galvanometer. So high resistance box is always connected with the galvanometer, while the small resistance box is always connected here with the cell. Primary cell, here we are taking the Lagrange cell whose internal resistance I am willing to find. So this is the circuit diagram with you. Here positive of the cells are coming at one point, that you may call it A point or initial point, P, here it is written. So any naming you can give, that will act as the 0 point. So at the 0 point, positive of both the cells is coming. This basic circuit will remain the same. Through the battery eliminator, then key, then ammeter and rheostat. These all are in series, and going to the another end of the potentiometer wire, that can be 1000 centimeter, that can be 400 centimeter, that is depending upon. But when you have to draw in the exam, you draw for 400 centimeter because it is comfortable to draw for 400 centimeter. But in numerical, if they mention whatever they mention, accordingly you have to solve or work out for the things. Now what it is, here this is the circuit where EMF of this cell is to be calculated. In parallel to this cell, we have to connect a small resistance box and a key. This is again a one-way key which we are calling K2. This we are calling K1. Here another resistance box, which is a high resistance box, is connected with the galvanometer, and this is connected with the one terminal device, that is Joule. So this is the circuit diagram. To understand the circuit diagram is very important. This small resistance box, we call it as the shunt resistance also. Now how to do this experiment to find the internal resistance? Firstly, of course, K1 key is to be inserted. K1 key you will insert, and what you people will do is, you have to find the null position without inserting K2. If you are not inserting K2, then how the current will pass, just to understand, it is passing starting from P, it is going in this way, positive, this way it will come, and this circuit it will be going, and of course here also the current is going, completing. When I have put the joke, it is completing and going like this. And at this position, I get a null point without inserting the key K2. It means the shunt resistance is not in the circuit. So when this part is not in the circuit, so this is like your first case we did, we can find the EMF of this cell. So that EMF, I am writing it as E1. E1 I am getting for the first balancing length, that is KL1. Now when this K2 is closed, here K2 key is closed. You need to note this point. For the second step, K2 is to be closed, and when K2 key you are closing, then what is happening? The current will be drawn from this cell E1 also, and you will be getting the balancing length, and that the balancing length, let me call it as L2, and that is giving you the potential difference, which is given by KL2. So when you divide these both the equations, you are getting E1 upon V, it is equals to L1 upon L2. So this I have calculated. Now you know the expression for the internal resistance, that is E minus V upon V into R. Here in place of E, we are writing E1, and E1 upon V we know it is equals to L1 upon L2. So this is the formula for internal resistance, that is equals to L1 upon L2 minus 1 multiplied by this capital R. This capital R is the resistance which we are taking out from this shunt small resistance box. So whenever you are inserting this key, you will take some resistance out from this smaller resistance box, that can be 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 3 ohm. And for different sets of observations, I may take like 5 ohm, then 10 ohm, then 15 ohm. And keeping here the current same, I can take the different sets of observations for L2. So different sets of observation can be taken by two methods. One is by changing this R. Second is by changing the I. I will be obviously getting the L1, L2 will become different. If I don't change this position of the rheostat, so current will be same. So L1 will not change. And if I change the resistance R, which is the shunt resistance, from the smaller resistance box, then what will happen? L2 will get changed and my different readings will be there for checking the internal resistance of a given cell. So I can find the internal resistance of the primary cell by using this circuit again. Now to revise the important points, that current in the potentiometer is due to this driver cell and current in the secondary circuit is due to this E1. Now EMF of this shell should be greater, otherwise you are not going to get the balance point. So that can be one problem faced in the doing the experiment, that many times you say, ma'am, we are not getting the balance point. So the reason is that if you have to check the EMF of the driver cell, if you are keeping it less than this cell, your primary cell here in the secondary circuit, then you will not be able to get the balance. Now this resistance which you are putting high resistance box in series with galvanometer, that is not affecting the balance point because no current is drawn from E1. So no potential drop is there across this resistor. You should keep this thing in mind. So that is not affecting your observations. Balance point will get when both the potential differences they equate each other, and that is why we are saying it is preferred over the voltmeter. Of course, if you are putting a resistance in parallel to the primary cell even, then it will affect for the secondary circuit if you are doing, for K2 if you are closing. If the galvanometer is showing deflection in one direction, so there can be reasons like we have discussed, that the EMF of E1 can be greater than the EMF of the source or the driver cell, or connections for the secondary circuit may be loose. That can be the reason. Positive end of driver cells and primary cells should be connected at the 0 point. That is to be taken care of, because otherwise you will not be able to get any readings at all. And this reason, you know that we are preferring the potentiometer over the voltmeter, because it is not drawing any current from the cell of which we are finding the EMF. So it is working like an ideal voltmeter. Sensitivity of potentiometer, that is, if potential drop is less, then it is said to be more sensitive. Potential gradient should be small. V upon L should be small. So it means for making the potentiometer more sensitive, potential gradient has to small, which means I should be increasing the length because it is inversely proportional to length. So if I increase the L, K will decrease. Or I can decrease the current because K is directly proportional to the current I. So by decreasing the current again, I can decrease the potential gradient. So for making the potentiometer more sensitive, you need to keep this thing in mind, that your potential gradient should be small. This is a simple question with you for making your understanding clear. Like we have taken the question with you that says, two students X and Y, they perform an experiment on potentiometer separately using the circuit diagram as it is shown in the diagram. They have got the circuit diagram and they performed the experiment. Now while performing the experiment, first student X, he increased the value of resistance R in the setup. This setup, it is increase the value of R, which is of course by moving the rheostat of this. Clear? Keeping the key K1 closed. This K1 was closed while K2 key was open. So this you can observe, this is a circuit diagram which I have given you for finding the internal resistance of the cell. Here they have not attached here the resistance box, that is to protect the galvanometer. That is understood, that has to be there. So for doing the experiment, that is always there. So but they are not showing because it is kept fixed value of resistance, and that is not going to affect my observations. That is why they are not showing here in the diagram. That is your common understanding. You should be able to understand the things. Now what it is, that X is increasing the value of R. So when it is increasing the value of R, this resistance of this potentiometer wire is fixed, and the value of R here is increased, which is in series with this value. So what happens? What will happen to the current? Current will decrease because you are increasing the resistance, and when current will decrease, it means it is going to get the balance point at the farther position. At the farther position means it will come closer to the B point. So you will see that the null position will get shifted towards the B point. Second student did what? Y decreases the value of S. Here, shunt resistance. He decreased the value of S while the key K2 remains open and key K1 is closed. Now K2 is open, K1 is closed. It means when K2 is open, then of course it is not going to affect the circuit at all, because current is passing because of this circuit, which is from A to your this E. Here of course the cell whose EMF you are calculating, then galvanometer, then this B, then this way it is completing the circuit. So if I close this K2, then only the current will pass through this circuit, not otherwise. You have to keep this thing in your mind. So because current is not passing through this point, and he has not made any change in this resistance, it's not moved the rheostat or not changed the resistance here. We can even put the resistance box to give you the various values of the resistances. That you have to read the question carefully, and then it means there will be no change in the null position. It will remain at the same point. So this way more questions can be discussed in the next class. I may discuss few more questions with you. For today, thank you everyone.